The Straw Hats are about to fight a huge war and we still don't know who's gonna fight who. They're currently trying to evacuate Dr. Vegapunk and Jewelry Bonney, but unfortunately that's not going so well. Jewelry Bonney is currently seeing Kuma's memories in a dream sequence, and the Stella Dr. Vegapunk just got kidnapped by his greed satellite York, who betrayed all of them and was collaborating with the world government as she wanted to become a celestial dragon. Not only that, but she exposed the fact that he's been researching the Void Century, causing Jaygarcia Saturn, 100 marine battleships, and Admiral Kizaru to pull up on Egghead right at this moment. Not to mention Cipher Pol Zero, of course, who's already here. Now, funny story about Cipher Pol Zero. While they were supposed to be here to eliminate Vegapunk, now they got their hands full teaming up with the Straw Hats of all people in order to fight off the Seraphim, who York released in order to eliminate the Straw Hats and Cipher Pol. Now currently, Luffy is teaming up with Lucci to fight off S-Bear, the Seraphim version of Bartholomew Kuma, an enhanced version of the Pacifista that was imbued with Lunarian DNA, as well as his Devil Fruit, of course, while Zoro and Kaku are fighting off S-Hawk, the Seraphim version of Dracule Mihawk, the world's greatest swordsman, who is imbued with the Devil Fruit of Mr. 1/Daz Bones, the Dice Fruit. Sanji himself actually seems to be handling S-Shark just fine on his own, S-Shark being the Seraphim version of Jinbei with the powers of Senor Pink. Not only that, but the narrator actually came in to say that the Egghead incident is about to be one of those incidents that shakes the whole world. Whatever that means. Now, it's been a few chapters since we saw what's been going on in Egghead Island, but on top of that, we also learned that a ship belonging to the Blackbeard Pirates is also headed towards there. What could that mean? Just real quick for me, if you enjoyed this video so far, make sure that you press that like button, make sure that you're subscribed, because these things really help me as a small YouTuber. As I was saying, it's been a few chapters since we've seen what's been going on in Egghead Island, but we do know that 100 battleships, Admiral Kizaru, Jaygarcia Saturn, and some Blackbeard pirates are headed there. Regarding the Blackbeard pirates, the only two that have not been accounted for either in the Law Battle or in Hachinosu are Katarina Devon and Lafitte. So it's safe to assume that either these two are already on Egghead Island or they're about to be, just like the Marines. And in terms of their objective, let's be honest, they're probably here to kidnap Dr. Vegapunk. He's probably like the world's most valuable man because of his knowledge, of course. It would be pretty easy for them to sneak in, grab Vegapunk, and get out of there, because Katarina Devon can simply blend in among the Straw Hats and pretend like she's one of them, while Lafitte can put them to sleep with the hypnotism or whatever. Would make the whole process a piece of cake. Now, regarding who Luffy is gonna be fighting this arc, just like every other arc, he needs like one big bad to beat, of course. He's currently fighting S-Bear, but let's be honest, S-Bear is not gonna be the big bad of this arc, as it's not really fitting. Same thing for York. I don't think York has the firepower to face a Gear 5 Yonko Luffy. So other than York, Luffy could be fighting Kizaru, which actually would be fitting for one good reason, and that is despite the fact that I still think Kizaru is gonna be there later in the final war. Now, the reason why Luffy versus Kizaru makes a lot of sense is simple. There are a lot of parallels between the Sabaody Archipelago arc as well as Egghead Island. A lot of similar characters were here. Bartholomew Kuma/S-Bear, Admiral Kizaru, and the Straw Hats were coming out of a big high in both cases. Back in Sabaody, they had just taken down Enies Lobby and Gecko Moria, not to mention that the Straw Hats had just been introduced to the Celestial Dragons. Now in Egghead Island, the big high that the Straw Hats are coming out of is taking down Kaido and Big Mom. That, as well as Luffy becoming a Yonko member, which is a parallel to becoming a member of the Worst Generation. Now the only parallel that remains to be fulfilled is the Straw Hats meeting a member of the Gorosei. And coincidentally, we have Jaygarcia Saturn pulling up right now. And if things go accordingly, Luffy will probably end up punching him as well. Now back in Sabaody, Luffy actually lost against Kizaru and his whole crew got dispersed across the world. However, now that they've become a Yonko crew, Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats could make a statement to the world by standing up to the world government and maybe even defeating Kizaru. That, combined with Luffy punching Jaygarcia Saturn, would make for quite the Egghead incident. One that would definitely shake the world, as the narrator puts it. Although, to be honest, I do think that the Seraphim will end up being won over by the government and will be stolen by them, which would be a big power up for them. Now, I don't think that Kizaru is necessarily going to be defeated directly, but more like forced to retreat or something along those lines. I do think that his presence in the final war is necessary to enforce the parallels with Marineford. I don't know, a final war without Kizaru just wouldn't feel quite the same. And if Kizaru were to be defeated right here, he wouldn't feel like much of a threat later on. Now, as for the rest of the Straw Hats, I'm not too sure who would be fighting who. That would depend on who Kizaru and Jaygarcia brought along with them. But if Smoker is with them, maybe this arc could be the tipping point to where he would be fighting against the government instead. I don't know, lots to think about. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you press that like button, make sure that you're subscribed, because these things really help me as a small YouTuber. Other than that, the common question of the day is, who do you think that Luffy's gonna be fighting at the end of this arc? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a good one.